Hey, what's up, guys? So, first thing is, the clip in the background is something I forgot to post in the Bryn Wallace video, so this shows exactly how strong he is versus post characters like Dirk and LeBron. This is Scrape's clip, so shout out to him. Anyway, so today we're covering a Malone guide. So, a lot of people have been asking for a guide on how to play Malone, and I thought they were trolling or memeing because this character takes 2 buttons to play. But anyways, we're gonna go with it. So, before we get started, one quick tip about Malone's ult that people overlook is it causes forced layups. So a lot of people will go ahead and they'll just try to like pop this and just walk around and hope someone dunks on them and messes up. One of the strongest things you can do with Malone is pop the ult right before someone goes to dunk on you, so that we don't have a chance to suspect it, or they don't have a chance to prepare or a chance to realize what's going on. Okay, so the first thing about the Malone guide is that running plus 25 rebound is suggested. So in the past, I've always been a person who suggests giving up 3 rebound for plus 16 mid-range because that's a huge difference. But in Malone's case, I don't know why, but he shoots better than like every other small forward in the game, and it makes no sense. So if you notice in the background footage, if you do not use the passive and you're just shooting plain mid-range fades, you can make probably about 20 points worth of fades before you miss. If you do use the passive, I have a sped up clip showing that you can make up to 50 or 60. So I played a 1v1 game where I made 50 in a row, but like I said, unless you're shooting and scoring extremely fast before you can build your passive on Malone, you do not need any mid-range, which is kind of crazy. Next thing is I'll show you the close setup that I use. Essentially use whatever you want to. Only thing is I suggest bring the plus 2 mid, obviously. For the partner, use plus 5 rebound, same thing as Ben Wallace. Now for the guide, always start with a shot. So when you are playing Malone, your options are shoot, bump, 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 shoot, bump, bump, layup. Like, this is why I thought it was a meme, because there's not much to them. So the rule is only dunk if your bump successfully lands, and only layup if they're too far to 360 block from behind. Also, there is one important aspect. So this is, again, I've talked about it in previous videos, as micro walking. So Malone has micro walking and hand switching. So Ape mentioned once that he wanted to see if you can change the hand of the fade, and then I labbed that and I was like, oh yeah, this is great. So Malone does have a hand switch and a micro walk, and if you master those, it technically makes you much more annoying to guard. So people who are trying to guard your Malone will generally swipe, which means they're immune to your bump. And then you have the options of either dunking or bumping again, or pretty much doing some things there. When you start mixing in your micro walking, it means that they have to kind of gauge and keep perfect distance, which is really hard. So anyways, the next thing about Malone is one of his key strengths, besides having really good rebounding, is box out swarm. So if you are out of position, it doesn't matter. And if there are people camping the paint, it doesn't matter. If there are 2 people boxing you out, sometimes that can work against them, and it allows you to ignore the person who's boxed out, which would put you directly under the rim. And I don't know what to say besides Malone's rebounding is OP. The box out swarm is really good. The box out or side box out with let's use your elbows is really good. And I don't know, this character is just ridiculous. So the last thing I want to cover is something that people do not understand. So Malone has a part of his passive called extra delivery. So if you score, actually there's various ways to trigger it, but my favorite one is if you score with your passive bar full, you get extra delivery during defense on your next possession. And that gives you plus 0.2 meters of block range, which is the same additional block range that JJJ gets in the paint after he stacks 2 stacks. So essentially, this gives you really insane block range, and all you have to do is just score in time with it. So this is a really short guide because Malone's a really easy character to use. It's just really knowing your tools and knowing your matchup, and pretty much being in the mind of the person guarding you and knowing what they need to do. Also, try not to ball hard with Malone. At the same time, don't be super passive, because if you're super passive, there's no reason for you to be on the court. Hope that helps. Really simple but super strong character, and I have another video coming out maybe tomorrow for you guys.